The Psychology of Money. Chapter 1. Money Psychobabble. The Psychology of Money. Money doesn't buy happiness, but it pays for the illusion that it does. Chasing after money is futile, like chasing after the wind. Ecclesiastes 5:16. Wine maketh merry, but money answereth all things. Ecclesiastes 10:19. Do what you do for the intrinsic joy it gives you, and the money should follow, at least the ability to earn a living by doing something you love to do anyway. Do what you do for the extrinsic reason of getting money for your time with no real love for the process, and you lose the game of life regardless of how big the paycheck is. If you can find something that you really love to do that can help, amuse, or inspire people in some way, give you a big paycheck and the respect of other people, you win the game of life. But if you do something you find dull and uninspiring, regardless of how much money you make, you will lose the game of life. Money is necessary for people in a society to exchange goods and services. We all need some money to sustain ourselves, but the problem starts when we go beyond normal consumer needs to either fall in love with money as a scorecard of our self-perceptions of worth, or fall in love with the things money can buy and develop a mental illness of thinking that material things are the key to happiness, that the more we buy, the happier we will be, which is the message the advertising industry puts out all the time. It goes further than this when a lot of spiritually empty people who work dull jobs and have nothing else much going on, go out and spend their disposable income on the weekends to try to bring their feelings up a notch, when they should really be getting these feelings out of living inspired lives. When you buy something, it might make you feel good for a minute or two, but good feelings only come from inspired living through soulful pursuits and doing things that make you feel good sensually, not buying a consumer product at a mall which can't really do much for your inner states, aka your soul. Money is necessary. The quest for wealth is good provided it's done for the right reason of financial security and independence, not to give yourself some misguided feeling of power in the world, because true power only comes from living an interesting, inspiring life, not doing something to acquire money to hoard it and buy useless things you don't really need. If you're rich, that's your prerogative, to buy useless, luxury things, but it's an empty life, it will never fulfill you. A big mansion full of details is just another functional dwelling. It doesn't change your spiritual experience of life much. It might give you a good feeling of security, but a little cottage does the exact same thing. Use your money for functional things and the things you really enjoy. Just don't go overboard on it. That's where the capitalist disease part of it comes in. Any girl who reads frivolous women's magazines is a victim of this disease, because her entire purpose in life is to fill her closets up with cute-looking clothing and fill her bathroom up with a bunch of overpriced cosmetics. She doesn't even realize the system brainwashed her to be this dumb consumer, thinking she's hot stuff. Some rich guy might have some power over certain other people at certain times by controlling how much money he gives them, like the rich guy at the hotel giving out big tips will quickly find that he's got a lot of fair-weather friends in the staff all trying to bend over backwards to please him, or the rich guy who runs a business will find all his workers afraid of him because he's the one who controls their paychecks and whether they will be fired or promoted. So money does give you power over others, but it's illusory, fake, transient power. Once the money is gone, these people could care less about you. In contrast, the truly nice human being is loved for who he is. The inspired individual gets his power by purging his natural energy every day by doing the soulful pursuits that give him mastery and joy in his life, while the guy with the money, if this is all he's got without a connection to his soul, doesn't have much real power in his life, both over others or within himself. People like nice people and interesting, inspired people for who they are. They like money bags just for his money, fair-weather friends as they're sometimes called. How many real friends does a rich tycoon have? How much time does he spend freely doing what he really wants with his life versus living some artificial experience based solely on his money? Society is massively hooked on measuring the man by the size of his wallet and not the size of his character, so most people are massively brainwashed to live by this ideal at the expense of living out what they truly feel in their souls, and relations among people in general is based on how much money we have. We give more dignity and respect to the wealthy when they could be and probably are some of the most greedy and exploitive people around. Many of us as individuals feel like losers if we don't measure up to a certain material standard we have in our heads, and some of us even commit suicide because of it, but most of us just waste our lives working our asses off at something we probably don't really like to do just to get somewhere on the illusory status scale so we can reassure ourselves we're successful people by society's standards, that we have arrived, so to speak. We're now in the yuppie Nike/suburban tribe of humanity. I personally believe that the cause of much of the crime and violence in our society is the inequity between the rich and the poor, which we all see on TV, which beams in nice, wealthy, affluent, easygoing lifestyles to our homes every night. The poor and ordinary middle-class people watch, get jealous of these wealthy people they think are living some great easy lifestyles somewhere, so they lash out, steal, rob, pillage and plunder to get the piece of the pie they feel they're entitled to. Gambling is another illness entirely based on a person's relationship with money. Try number 332.019, number 332.4019 or HG221 to HG222 at the library for books about the psychological aspects of money. Books about the psychology of rich people are at number 305.523 or HG222.3 at the library. The love-hate relationship with money. You can't serve two masters, soul and money. Money makes you inescapably part of the world system regardless of whether you want to be or not. You just can't go off and live a bohemian lifestyle at your own whims unless you are independently wealthy, which very few of us are. We always have to be working to earn enough money to satisfy our needs and thinking about our economic security. This is why none of us, not even the hermit in the cave I saw on TV, can get by without money, which means our lives are always attached to the pursuit of it, except for the few people who have enough such that they don't have to worry about it. Even the hermit has to carve some trinkets out of wood so he can earn enough money to buy his food and the few utensils he owns. Money is the god of the capitalist world. There isn't anything someone won't do for money. Throughout our lives most of us will sell our souls to one extent or another to get money. We will compromise our true natures somewhat to live in the material world and acquire material things. Money is power. It can enhance your life, but it destroys many people's lives because they fight over money, love it so much they pursue it over anything else, steal from their family and friends, commit crimes for it, etc. There are compulsive shoppers, gamblers, savers, misers, investors, etc. Money is the way we all keep score, even if secretly. We size each other up based on the car we drive, the neighborhood we live in, the size of our house, etc., all the while acting like nice, friendly, compassionate people. It's considered poor manners to ask anyone what they make, what they're worth, or how much is their house worth. Poor people are obsessed with getting money, rich people are concerned about getting more and suspicious as to whether people like them just for their money. Some people are compulsive spenders. They're not happy until they spend their entire paychecks. There's such a schizophrenic view to money. Just about everybody claims to be above money, to use it for the functional things of life and focus on the aesthetic, spiritual aspects, but then when you hear about people having 100+ pair of shoes, having several houses or cars, and a lot of people trying to impress others with their material wealth, you realize that despite outer appearances, many people are obsessed with money beyond just comfort and security. It's a source of power and identity to them, to be thought of as well-to-do by others and to get control over others by giving them money or withholding it, as with husbands over wives, bosses with employees, and anybody with their fair-weather friends. Some people think money equates to slavery to the capitalist world of material things, always needing more to feel good, while other people think money is the key to happiness because it frees you to buy anything you want, but it doesn't automatically lead you to live a euphoric, happy, inspired life, because these things only come from expending effort to make them happen, which has very little to do with money, if anything. Money can't make you a great athlete, a great writer, a charismatic person, someone with sex appeal, or an interesting person living for adventure. Money can give you the freedom to pursue these things if you want, but you have to pay the price and sweat to make them come to pass, which is something money can't buy. There's a lot of guilt involved with money because the pursuit of it is drilled into us since childhood. Our parents, who are more conservative than us, are obsessed that we get a good job and save our money. Our worth in the world is measured by money, so if we're not quite there or don't really aspire to work for the man to get money, we invariably feel like we don't fit in or we're oddballs to some extent because we're not actively pursuing the American dream of acquiring money bags for its own sake. Most of us are hypocrites when it comes to money. We say we should help the poor and oppressed, but all the while, we're trying to build better houses, make them more comfortable and fill them up with all kinds of things. If you're a Christian, you're supposed to help your fellow man, so why are you living in a comfortable home when your brother, the homeless guy down the street, is so destitute? The dream of wealth is often a luring fantasy that doesn't come close to making you happy when you get it, because firstly, you will find that the person you are inside barely changes at all before money, and after money then you will find that all of a sudden everything is more serious. Whereas before, you like to do the yard work around the house, now because you live in a wealthy neighborhood, it's fashionable to hire a lawn care service, so you do this, and whereas before, you invested some of your money casually in the stock market, now, it's more serious because it's larger amounts of money and you're concerned with getting more, so the trade-off to a more complicated life might end up doing more harm than good. People lose their fun in life to get all serious about their money and the image they should put forth as wealthy people. Money is often used to buy love, as a substitute for love, and for many people who are brought up poor or abandoned, they're so insecure about being left out in the cold that they overcompensate, earn more money than they will ever need, but still aren't happy on the inside, because happiness is more than money. It's living an inspired life true to the nature you were born with, not compromising this nature in order to earn money which is empty by itself without some purpose that inspires you, makes you happy and gives you some joy doing it.